Over the past few years, the concept of horror in movies has changed. Films like The Substance, Smile, Hereditary, and Midsommar don't create fear simply by showing ghosts or monsters. Instead, they root for horror in human emotions, trauma, grief, guilt, and psychological suffering. In India, we experienced something similar with Tumbbad, a film that used horror to explore greed and human nature rather than relying on traditional scares. The reason I'm bringing all this up is because I recently watched Hokum, starring Adam Scott. There was a lot of hype surrounding this movie, which made me curious to check it out for myself. And I have to say, it genuinely surprised me. Let's talk about it. And yes, this video contains major spoilers. Hokum follows the story of Om Bauman, a writer known for giving his books sad and disturbing endings. These endings are often a reflection of his own life, a life shaped by childhood trauma, guilt, and abuse. Since childhood, Om has been carrying a lot of trauma. When he was young, he accidentally caused his mother's death. After that, his father completely changed. He constantly blamed Om for what happened and abused him for years. So, from the beginning, we are dealing with a character who's already broken from the inside. Now, Om arrives at a remote hotel to spread his parents' ashes. The place is special because it's where his parents came for their honeymoon, and it was also his mother's final wish. Things became more interesting when he learns about the honeymoon suite where his parents once stayed. According to local legend, the room is haunted by a witch. The movie establishes the witch's lore very early on. It is said that this witch chains her victims and drags them through a terrifying journey into the underworld before ultimately killing them. Now, from this point onwards, the movie starts looking like a typical supernatural horror film. Strange things begin happening around home, and the legend of the witch slowly starts becoming a reality. But here's where I think the movie becomes very interesting. Because if you look closely, the witch isn't the real focus of the story. The real focus is Om himself. Think about it. Ever since childhood, Om has been carrying a burden that he never managed to escape. The accidental death of his mother didn't just take away a parent, it completely changed how he saw himself. His father blamed him, abused him, and constantly reminded him of that tragedy. Over time, Om started believing the same thing, and sometimes that's what guilt does. It becomes a voice in your head, a voice that keeps telling you should keep suffering for your mistakes. That's exactly what we see in Om's life. According to the legend, the witch chains her victims and drags them through the underworld before killing them. But isn't that exactly what guilt does? It chains you to the past. It forces you to relive your mistakes again and again. It traps you in a personal hell long before death ever arrives. The horror of the film doesn't come from jump scares or ghosts. It comes from watching a man being destroyed by his own inability to forgive himself. And that's why the underworld sequences are so important. Whether they are real or not doesn't actually matter. What matters is how they represent and what they represent. Every terrifying encounter feels like Om facing his own tragic life. By the end, for the first time, Om stops running from his past. He finally faces it. He understands that what happened was an accident. The guilt that he has been carrying for years was destroying him from the inside. And instead of letting that guilt control him anymore, he finally accepts it. He accepts what happened. He accepts his past. And most importantly, he forgives himself. That's why I think the ending is so powerful. The real victory isn't surviving the witch. The real victory is overcoming the guilt that haunted him his entire life. And that's what makes Hokum more than just a horror movie. It's a story about learning to live with your mistakes and finding a way to move forward. So that was all for the thematic side of the movie. Now if I talk about the movie itself and its presentation, this movie genuinely scared me. Not because of the witch, but because of the way the entire atmosphere is created. Everything feels uncomfortable and unsettling from start to finish. And the way they use Fiona's dead body throughout the movie, that was creepy. And that scene where the witch follows Om from the basement to his room, the way she crawls through that lift, man, that was probably the scariest part of the entire film. Special appreciation for the sound design. Seriously, whoever worked on it deserves an award. Half of the horror comes from what you hear, not what you see. So yeah, these were my thoughts on Hokum. Let me know your thoughts in the comment as well. And don't forget to check out our other videos as well. And as always, may the cinema be with you.